Okay, Mr. Foreign Minister, President Trump says he thinks President Putin wants to end the war. But if you are serious about peace, why not stop dropping bombs? Why not agree to the ceasefire that President Trump has asked you for?
But we are dropping bombs. We come again and again to the same issue. We are dropping bombs on the targets which are directly involved in building Ukrainian military machine, targeting the Russian civilians, and continuing the war which Ukrainians started by instigation from Biden administration, from the Europeans, those who supported the coup in 2014 and later was doing everything to turn Ukraine in an instrument to contain Russia, and lately, a few years ago, it was announced that Ukraine is an instrument to inflict strategic defeat on the Russian Federation. So when I give the examples of what we are doing, and this has been explained repeatedly, if you can provide us a proof that we hit any civilian target without, indiscriminately, a target not linked to the military machine of Ukraine, we would be looking into this. But the facts,
okay,
the facts of Ukrainian, I think I should interview you. The facts of Ukrainians hitting purposefully civilian targets are plentiful, and they are available in the information which we are circulating to the international community.
Mr. Foreign Minister, here are the facts. Close to 50,000 civilians have either been killed or injured in this war. Russia has hit maternity wards, churches, schools, hospitals, a kindergarten just this past week. So either the Russian military has terrible aim or you are targeting civilians. Which is it?
Look, NBC is a very respectful structure, and I hope you are responsible for the words which you broadcast. I ask you to send us or to publicize the information to which you just referred, because we never targeted the civilian targets of the kind you cited. You might be mixing, the information, because it is a fact that quite a number of churches were purposefully hit by the Ukrainian regime. Quite a number of just civilian settlements, human settlements.
But what about your actions? What about your actions, Mr. Foreign Minister?
Look, we're going by circles. I told you already what we mentioned repeatedly, that we never target civilian sites, that we only attack the sites which are directly involved in the Ukrainian military machine, which the West is trying to beef up. And if you have any proof of what you just said about churches, kindergartens, schools, and so on and so forth, I challenge you, make it public.
Sure.
Make it public with the dates, with the addresses, and so on and so forth. As I said, it's NBC is a very reputed broadcasting agency, and it is
absolutely. It's all publicly,
your
Mr. Foreign Minister. It's all publicly documented, and we have reporters on the ground who've seen it with their own eyes.
When you make such claims.
All of the information is publicly available. We do have reporters on the ground who've seen these strikes with their own eyes. I do want to keep moving, though, and talk about security guarantees, an issue that you raised this week, and you have said right here today that Russia should have the power to reject any security guarantees for Ukraine.
Look,
the Europeans say it's
please.
none of your business.
Kristen,
let me just ask the question. Why? Let me just ask the question, though.
Don't play Zelensky. Look, be an honest journalist. I never said.
question, then you can answer.
I
Let me
ne-
just ask my
I am
question, then you
answering.
can answer.
I am answering a
Well, I
question
haven't
now.
asked my question yet. Why should the country that's bombing Ukraine be responsible for the security of Ukraine?
Why is the country and countries who prepared the anti-Russian coup in Ukraine, who pumped up modern weapons in Ukraine to attack the Russian territory, countries who supported the Nazist regime prohibiting human rights, which they had to respect under the United Nations Charter and many other conventions. Why should we be swallowing all this? I explained to you, I never said that Russia must have a veto on security guarantees, but security guarantees must be subject to consensus. I reminded you that it was okay for Ukrainians in April 2022 to present a document which could have ended this war and which started by declaring that Ukraine is going to be neutral, non-bloc, non-nuclear. By the way, this statement, this declaration, not to have any nuclear weapons, not to be members of military blocs, and to remain the neutral status, this was the essence of Ukrainian Declaration of Independence in 1990. And this declaration, it is because of this claim that they would never be NATO members, that they would never have nuclear weapons, and that they would be neutral, that they were recognized as independent state. So if you believe that Russia being marginalized in the discussions on security issues on our borders, that this is something which is natural and normal, then I'm sorry, something is wrong with the philosophy of your channel.
Just yes or no, are you talking about Russian boots on the ground?
Where?
In Ukraine, in that region?
No, Russian boots on the ground because this ground was moved, was being turned in a stronghold to inflict strategic defeat upon the Russian Federation. The Russian boots on the ground are not to protect the ground. They are make sure that this ground would never be hosting weapons capable to reach the Russian territory. Russian boots on the ground are because this ground is the territory where hundreds and hundreds of years ethnic Russians and Russian-speaking people were living. They actually founded those lands. They historically developed Russian culture, Russian language, and they respected Russian history. And when all this was prohibited after the coup took place, the coup which was a very bloody and very unconstitutional, we did not have any other choice but to defend these people against the bluntly Nazist regime. And the proof that the regime is Nazist is plentiful, and I hope that some days your correspondents could visit and see what is going on with glorification of military criminals, collaborators of Hitler, and so on.